What's going on, Jerome's undisclosed location? So, was surprised on my pre-birthday. It's good times by everyone involved. But Emerald City. But of course, there's always stuff going on with the Minnesota Vikings. Final week of OTAs, and team didn't put out a hype video, is what it is. But there's still some things to talk about. Notably, also, we did this because if there's no daily dump, that means there's no dump. I'm looking out for you guys. But first up is officially official. All right, so Justin frickin' Jefferson, 2 weeks ago, inking up his 4-year, $140 million $110 million guaranteed deal, highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history in terms of average per season, as well as total guarantee. But ink to paper, pen to paper, whatever. How come people don't sign things with quills anymore? That had to really suck back in the day. So you just got to find a good bird. Probably got lice, right? Have that thing for dinner, and then you got to get some ink. I don't know, man. But yeah, JJ looking good, man. Looking really, really officially good. And also Kevin McConnell, that's a great hat. I love that, man. Everything is looking really damn fantastic. Also fantastic. So you may know that Daddy from time to time likes to put a jelly bean or two on things. Now, who is going to lead the NFL in receiving this season? This is from Jamie Eisner of the Draft Network. Odds via Bet Online AG for entertainment purposes only. So you were thinking, even though JJ is coming off that injury, sort of out of sight, out of mind, and yes, going from Kirk Cousins to either Sam Darnold or JJ McCarthy, that, okay, maybe his chances will go down a little bit. But I don't know, man. So Tyreek is the leader in the clubhouse of plus 600. So bet 100 jelly beans, you get six. You get six back. It's just like Jamar Chase is up there too. CeeDee Lamb plus 900. AJ Brown 10-1. Although it's a pretty even split between him and Devontae Smith with the Eagles. And then you get to Justin frickin' Jefferson, right? So JJ, I kind of like that a lot. Where I think people are downgrading JJ because of the injury as well as because of the quarterback change. But remember, Jefferson put up major numbers last year with Nick Mullins, right? And I think that he can do the same with Sam Darnold. I think that he could do the same with JJ McCarthy, even though I think it is going to be Sam Darnold for the bulk of the 2024 season. And I ain't discounting anything, man. I think that JJ, he's pissed off for greatness. He wants to prove that last year was an anomaly. He wants to prove that he's worth the money, and putting up numbers is the name of the game. And he, right now, in terms of average yards per game, he is the career NFL leader through his first 4 years of his career. So I'm taking that all day. Baby, we got a stew going. Some of the other numbers. All right, so I will say that I kind of like Amon St. Brown at 12-1 because is this going to be the year for Jameson Williams? No. You know what's going to happen? Jefferson Williams is going to have like 3 catches, but it's going to be for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they're all going to be against the Vikings. That's the only thing that's going to happen. Drake London, Garrett Wilson, 18-1. That gets kind of interesting, man. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy and actually is worth 2 poops this year, maybe. Devontae Smith, no. DJ Moore, no. Ayuk, yeah. Kupp, absolutely not. Evans, Nico. The rest of the way, I'm not really intrigued by anyone. But if I had to do like a scatter, like I feel like the Tyreek and Chase are just too short. It happens, man. But JJ and Amon-Ra at 12-1 each. Maybe Puka at 14-1. Maybe Garrett Wilson 18-1. But that's really about it. That's at. Speaking of JJ and the guy throwing to him, this is from Vikes fan page. Slinging Sam Darnold on playing with Justin friggin' Jefferson. Throwing to that guy is awesome. He gets open more times than not. It's fun to be able to throw to him. Now, I feel like Sam should say he gets open all the time. Even though, again, Sammy, I understand that you've only had 3 practices with Justin friggin' Jefferson, but don't worry. He's like 7-11, never closes, always open. That's what's going to happen, man. So I think that, again, everyone's sleeping on what the Vikings can do. I believe in Sam Darnold's ability with the weapons around him and coaching around him and some protection and actually a couple of like non-idiots in charge. I mean, okay, Adam Gase and Matt Rule. And then all of a sudden you go to Shanahan and Kevin O'Connell. I feel like that's an upgrade. Speaking of upgrades, Justin Jefferson over Stefon Diggs. I mean, Stefon Diggs is talented, but sometimes it feels like he just chooses to be unhappy. about things. This is from Purple Persuasion. According to former Vikings wide receiver Stefon Diggs via Albert Breer, Diggs believes the Vikings purposely sent him to the Bills, and that was not the kindest intent. Quote, because at that point when I left Minnesota, I was a good player, but I wanted more for myself. I felt like I was better than that I could be better than that. And up until that point, I was like, shoot, I'm going to bet on myself. And they sent me to Buffalo. I don't know if they sent me to Buffalo with the kindest intent, but all is well that ends well. What is he talking about? No, seriously. No, what the hell is he talking about? Because, hey, we have every intention of having Stefon Diggs on the team this year. Cool. Buffalo Bills called up. They made an offer. They're one of the few teams that offered to trade for your ass, and they got it done. And guess what? It wasn't with the kindest intent. It felt like it was a win-win, where, hey, you're a talented guy, sending you to the opposite conference, getting a draft pick where we secured perhaps the best wide receiver of his generation. And also, let's not act like it was Siberia and Buffalo. Yeah, weather aside, I mean, Buffalo's Super Bowl window opened when you were there, man. And you put up big-time numbers with Josh Allen. So let's not act like it's like Randy Moss on the Raiders. It just wasn't that, man. The Vikings sent you to a good team. You guys had opportunities to make a Super Bowl, maybe even win a Super Bowl, but it didn't happen, and now you're with the Texans, right? So if anything, I mean, I don't get it, man. All right, so were the Vikings just supposed to do like Buffalo and just trade you to an in-conference contender like Houston? Or should the Vikings just trade you to San Francisco? That's stupid. It's stupid, man. Yeah, but it's okay. Like I understand. It's like, but all's well that ends well. It's just like that really stupid passive-aggressive thing. That's where we learned it in Minnesota. Speaking of a guy that I hope is actually back, so Vikes fan page again. Cameron Bynum. Try it again. Byron Murphy on his future nailed it. Quote, I got to say, since I've been here since day one, I fell in love and I don't want to go nowhere. I want to stay here for the rest of my career, so I'm going to try to work my ass off to stay here for sure. We've heard that a lot from Kirk Cousins. I want to end in Washington. I want to end in Minnesota. I want to retire as a Falcon. Okay. But Murph signing a 2-year deal coming over from Arizona. Now, Murph had some medical issues that were kind of concerning, back issues coming off of his rookie deal. But, I mean, he's performed well. And I think that he is going to be really a stalwart in the slot in this Brian Flores defense. I think that he was really solid last year. I think that he will grow and show he's a great leader as well. You see him staying after practice, imparting some wisdom with rookie Dwight McLaughlin. And he's impressive. Like, I still really love and respect Byron Murphy. Now, PFF-wise, maybe wasn't the greatest season ever, but eyeball test-wise, Murph was getting it done in a situation where the Vikings were consistently blitzing 5 and 6. So you're thin on the back end, and he was still able to get something done. Speaking of getting it done, so Kevin O'Connell, we talked about this in a separate video, but saying that Dalton Risner is going to compete with Blake Brandel at left guard and Ed Ingram at right guard. Good. Again, the best players should play, the best 5. Now, sticking by Bradbury, but that's an argument for another day. Dalton Risner did play center back in 2015 in Kansas State as a redshirt freshman. No big deal. No big deal. But I love this because knew that they were going to compete at left guard with Risner and Brandel, but now opening up with Ed Ingram. Hey, Ed, just because he started the last 2 years, just because you were a second-round pick, just because he got better last year versus your rookie year, if you're not one of the best 5, you're not going to be out there. So I love the competition mentality. Also competition mentality, Josh Metellus. Metellus is one of my favorite Vikings. I mean, he's just a guy that grinded his way up, 6th-round pick out of Michigan, a borderline special teams guy, then became special teams captain, and then became a starter last year, signed a very mini extension. He's in line to get himself some more money, but I love the way that he carries himself. I love the way his teammates rave about him. His football intelligence is off the charts. I think that if he wants to be, he could be a future head coach in college or the NFL. I think that's the respect that Josh Metellus has. And put on a football camp, his first ever football camp at TCO on June 21st, 4 to 6 p.m. Sign up, all ages are welcome, and metellus.eventbrite.com. Go sign that up. It's gonna be, I feel that the Vikings culture is so good because how many players put on camps? Basically all of them. And it's really fantastic to see the guys get back to not only the Twin Cities in Minnesota, but also the communities that they grew up into. It's fantastic. Also fantastic. So 33rd team. The Vikings have a top blank wide receiver core this year. So Vikings wide receiver room. So now, you basically have to say that just pass catcher room, right? Because Hawkinson is basically the third leg of this tripod, but we'll go with it. So you got Jefferson, you got Addison, you got Powell, Sherfield, and then you got Jalen Naylor. Now, you could sprinkle in some Tristan Jackson, you could sprinkle in some Thayer Thomas, you could sprinkle in a lot of other guys, right? But what it comes down to is Jefferson and Addison are the best duo in the league. All due respect to Tyreek and Waddle and Devontae and A.J. Brown and Puka and Cooper Kupp, Justin and yes, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Jefferson and Addison are the top two. That's it. That's it. Best duo in the league. I mean, Jefferson, Addison, and me, would be the best wide receiver room in the league. Not saying, I'm just saying. That's right. Lastly, it says a lot when like the Minnesota Twins like City Edition uniforms like didn't get leaked. I feel like they didn't get leaked because they know that people are going to hate them, and I feel like it's 95-5 that these are just, this ain't it, right? So I mean, if you replace the yellow with red, maybe you can get by with it, but this is just too much. I mean, they look like the old Mariners. They look like the Brewers. This is ridiculous. Now, the hat is pretty awesome. All right, we'll give them that. But the rest of it, I don't know. And I know that they're trying to incorporate, like, the Twins and Love of the Loon. What does that mean? Is the logo like two loons humping? What is that? What does that sound like? I can't do the loon. The ripple. One M. Now, can we blame Fanatics for this? Or can we not? I don't know, man. Either way, this ain't it. This is and again, this is probably why the reason that they didn't leak, because they know that people are going to hate them. So that's rough. That's rough, man. It's no bueno. But that's it. Vikings news dump for this beautiful, wondrous Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skol. Production value.